Hello boys and girls, Mr. Gemini. I want to apologize first of all for not being here today. It is my hope that I will be here tomorrow. I don't see why I won't. But I did want to start you off with what we're working into is multi-step equations, solving multi-step equations. Now for reading practice tonight, you might not have anything this let's say, I don't want to say complicated, but this may be challenging, probably a better word. But I do want to start to get you prepared for solving multi-step equations. I think you guys can handle single-step equations. And what I mean by single-step equations, this would be something that I'm pretty confident you guys have seen in the past. So if I gave you something like, and we'll just start very basic, like 4 plus x is equal to 12. Now I know all of us are saying, oh, all I do is I know that it's 8. But in algebra, and as we get to stuff like this, you want to start to follow a process. And you think about this, I want to isolate this variable. I want to get this variable by itself. And to do that, I need to get rid of the 4. Well, this 4, there's no operation in front of it, so it is assumed, it's understood to be a positive. So to get rid of a positive 4, I need to subtract 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. That essentially just gets rid of it over here, and I must do the same over here. And now I'm left with just the x, and x is equal to 8. And we could easily check our work by substituting in what we get for x, which in this case is 8, and saying, hey, 4 plus 8 is 12. Oh, okay, 12 equals 12. That's a check because both sides of the equations are equal to each other. All right. Another one we could do is something like this. Let's go with 4. I don't know why I'm happy with the number 4 here. 4 times y is equal to, let's just say, 48. Again, I'm sure many of you are jumping to it. Oh, wait, it's 12, it's 12. And that'd be correct. But again, you want to follow a process here because as the problems become more complicated, more challenging, if you don't have that foundation of how to follow the steps, you're going to really be lost. Again, so I know that the inverse, I want to undo the multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication, the inverse of operation multiplication is division. So what I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Now, 4 divided by 4, we know they cancel out. You're just left with the 1, and it's 1y. Remember, you have that coefficient. Really, there's a 1 there. Don't have to put it. It's just understood to be there. And whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I would divide 48 by 4, and I'm going to get 12. And again, the way to check this is substitute your answer back into the equation where you have the variable, which in this case is y. And we have 4 times 12. We hope equals 48, and indeed 48 equals 48, so that is a check. All right. Another one you might see is something along the lines of this. Let's go with t divided by 3. So we're taking some value, break it into 3 equal parts, and it's going to equal to, I don't know, 108. All right. Now, here we're looking at this, and typically you'll see it like this, as you'll see up here in this example. Divide by 3. Well, the opposite of dividing by 3, the inverse is to multiply 3. Now, what I do here is I like to set it up like this. Because this is a fraction, it looks to be a fraction, I'm going to put 3 over 1. And we do some cross reductions. The 3's cancel out, so I'm left with the t. All right, now that is equal to, and I'm going to divide this side by 3. Or excuse me, I'm going to multiply this side by 3. I'm going to multiply this side by 3. Now I can, this is what I meant to say, I can set this up as a fraction if I'd like. Since that's a fraction, I could put 3 over 1. And obviously 1 times 1 is 1. And now we multiply 108 times 3. That's 24. That's 2. And that is 3. That is 324. And again, the easy way to check this is to substitute in the value, 324, for the variable t. And we go 324, and now it is divided by 3, and that gives me 1. 3, that's nothing left over. 3 is not going to 2, so we'll put a 0 here. 3 goes into 24 8 times. So I am happy because 108 checks 108, and that is good. All right, now let's take a look at some problems that are a little bit more, again, I want to use the word challenging instead of complicated. And I'm going to do a couple up here. Now what I ideally like you do is I want the sub to pause the video once I introduce a problem, and then you get a shot, and then we'll resume the video, and then you could check your work. Let's look at number 2. We have 9t, and let me actually, you know what, before pauses, let me do this one, and then we get an idea, a little foundation of how to do this. So we have 9 times something plus 12 is equal to 75. Now, the first thing many kids want to do is they want to jump to this 9t, and they want to move that. But let's stay this. This is the coefficient. Let's leave the coefficient right here because I have an operation here. I have an addition, and I'm adding a constant. Let's get rid of the constant first, and then we'll tackle this t. All right, so what we're going to do is first is we're going to get rid of the 12. Now, I see it's adding, so the inverse of addition is subtraction. So I'll subtract 12 from both sides. Subtracting 12 from both sides. This just comes down, kind of reminds me of order of operation, where whatever I don't use, I bring down. 9t is equal to 75 minus 12 gives me 63. I am now going to divide. I'm going to divide because I see this as multiplication here. The inverse of multiplication is division. What I'll do is I'll divide both sides by 9. Whatever I do one side of the equation, I must do to the other. 9 divided by 9, that just gives me 1. And what I really want is I just need to evaluate this or solve this equation for 1t anyway, so that is t. And then 63 divided by 9, oh, yeah, that gives me 7. And again, the way I could check my answer, and that's why I love doing these equations, one step, multi-step, whatever it may be. It's very easy for me to go back, substitute my answer in. I get 9 times 7 is 63, 63 plus 12. It does indeed give me 75. Alright, now I want you guys to try one on your own. Now, whoever the sub is, sorry I don't know your name, we're going to do, how about you guys do number 6? So let's start with 14 times q, 14q minus 17 is equal to 39. Alright, pause the video here a second. 14q minus 17 equals 39. See what you get. Alright, I wish you well. Alright, now you've probably solved the problem. And now we're going to take a look at this. So again, I have the coefficient variable right here. I am just going to leave this right here for now. I kind of like that the q is on one side of the equation. I'm going to keep it there. Why move that around? We'll just keep it there. There's no q's in their side to combine like terms. We'll leave it there. Let's get rid of the 17. First thing I notice, it is subtracting 17. Well, to get rid of essentially negative 17, we do the inverse, which is to add. So we'll add 17 to both sides. So 17 here, 17 here. I'm going to bring what I did not use down, which is the 14q. And that's going to be equal to, that gives me 16, right? And then 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so that is 56. Alright, now, what I have is 14 times something equals 56. Again, think, what's the inverse of multiplying by 14? That is correct, it is division. Divide both sides by 14. And again, boys and girls, just to kind of reiterate, when I grade an assessment, it's great for you and I because we have much better dialogue, much richer dialogue, if you show me your steps. And that way I can say, hey, you know what? I love the steps. I see what you're doing. You really understand the concept thoroughly. Or, hey, this is what you're not doing. And the correct answer would be 56 divided by 14 is 4. Again, nice way to substitute in here. Check it quick. 14 times 4 is 56. 56 minus 17 is 39. Hey, I like it. All right. Let's take a look at number 5. I'm sure some of you were looking at that one earlier and saying, oh no, please don't do number 5. We have b plus 24 divided by 2 is equal to 13. I'm not going to go into how to solve this one. I'm going to give you some time to work on it. Again, best bet here, once you get a solution, once you feel you know the value for b, substitute it back in, see if you get it equal 13. All right, pause it. Okay, now that many of you are probably hating me right now because that problem might have been either too challenging or maybe you just weren't ready for it. I don't think it's too challenging, just maybe not ready for it. So we take a look at this. I'm going to guess many of you wanted to subtract 24 from both sides first. The best way to get this problem done is to first get rid of the divide by 2. I can't get rid of this plus 24. I need to simplify this top part of the division or top part of the fraction, if I want to call it, and then get rid of then work on, or sorry, you want to simplify this. I can't simplify this until I get rid of this divide by 2. So the first thing I do is I'm going to multiply the entire equation by the value of 2, because the opposite of dividing by 2 is to multiply by 2. And again, I'll kind of set it up like a fraction here. This helps me visually see a little more. Now, I can do some cross reduction. That gets rid of the 2. So now look what I'm left with. b plus 24 is equal to, now you have to multiply this side by 2. 13 times 2 over 1, or it could be 13 over 1 times 2 over 1. That gives me 26. All right, now you're probably saying to yourself, this is a really easy equation, which you would be right. First thing I'd do, I'd like the b's here. I'm going to leave the b there on the left side of the equation. Need to get rid of that 24, so subtract 24 from here. Subtract 24 from here. We have b equals 2. Substitute back in. Hey, 24 plus 2 is 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Yes, love it. All right, hope that makes sense a little bit here. Now I'm going to go to a little bit more challenging ones. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look. I would really like to tackle number 1 first. And again, I know some of you right now are saying, no, no, no. You boys and girls, you have the foundation to do this. This is something you can handle. Just believe in yourself. What's nice about this one is on the right side of this equation sign, the only thing is there is the positive integer of 13. Now, because I see that over there, I'm going to leave all my variables, coefficients to the left side and try to get everything else to the right side. First of all, on this left side, we can combine some like terms. I have 8d, I have 3d. In front of that 3d is a plus sign, so we will combine these two terms. 8d's plus 3d's, that gives me 11d. Now let's take a look at what else we have. We have 11 and 2. Now in front of that 11 is a minus. So if I think about that, we have negative 11 plus 2. I am taking 11 away from the 8d. When I take something away, that's like the adding the opposite. So the opposite of 11 is negative 11. So we have negative 11 plus 2. It's negative 11 degrees out. It just raised 2 degrees. It is negative 9. So I have 11d minus, or I could do plus, if I'd like, plus a negative 9. All right, plus a negative 9. Let me erase this here. Now I still can't forget about that other side of the equation, which equals 13. Now when I have this, and the reason why I put this in parentheses is to show a little separation between the addition sign and the subtraction sign. What's the opposite of negative 9? Positive 9. So that means I'm going to add 9. And that leaves me with nothing, which is what I want. So now I have 11d. Now I am going to add 9 to this side. Add 9 to this side. Well, that gives me, I believe that gives me 22. And I know you guys are jumping it right now. You're saying, hey, d equals 2. Yes. Divide both sides by 11. And I have d is equal to 2. Substitute it back in. I'm going to write it this way. Let's go 8 times 2 minus 11 plus 3 times 2 equals 13. Let's simplify this left side. 16 minus 11 plus 6 equals 13, we hope. Let's see here. Did I do this right? 16 minus 11. Oh, I forgot that plus 2. There we go. Plus 2. Excuse me. 16 minus 11 is 5. 5 plus, that's a 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2 is 8, right? 8 equals 13. Hey, that's 13 equals 13. Yes, love it. I'm going to model one more on this page, and then I got to stop talking and let you guys do some work. I want to look at this one right here. Y divided by 2 minus 3y divided by 8 plus 1/4 equals 1/2. Now, I know what you're saying to me. I don't like fractions. Well, I have not really met many 6th graders that like fractions. I'm going to look at all the denominators. We have 2, 8, 4, 2. Now, my question is what's the least common multiple for 2, 8, 4, 2? Oh, nice job, Zach, and you said 8. Excellent. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to multiply every single term in this equation by 8. Now it's going to look like this. I actually typically sometimes do this in my head, but I'm going to write it out. So it'd be 8 over 1 times y over 2 minus 3 over 1. Here, let's do this. Let me put that 8 first. And actually, let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, sorry about that. There you go. Let's actually put the 8 in a different color. So this here would be 8 over 1 because I know their least common multiple is 8. And then we're going to times that. We're going to times that by y over 2. Minus Again, I have to multiply every term by 8 over 1, or 8, because that's the least common multiple. I'm just making it a fraction because everything else is a fraction. It just kind of jives a little easier for us. 3 over y divided by 8. Plus 8 over 1 times 1/4. Oh, I want to change colors there. Okay, we have equals. Again, sorry about the announcements here. 8 over 1. So if you heard that, you know what day I'm making this video. Equals 1 over 2, or 1/2. Now, again, do a little cross reduction here. I do look diagonally. What common factor do they have? They both have 2. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 8 4 times. Or I can say, hey, what's half of 8? It is 4. So now we have 4 times y, which gives me 4y. Minus 8 and 8 go each other once, so we're left. Minus, so that's 3y. Plus, hey, what's 1/4 of 8? I think I heard Megan Sullivan say it is 2. Correct, Mego. Equals, hey, what's half of 8? Thank you, Anna. It is 4. Now, let's take a look at what we have here. I'll try to squeeze it up here. I'm just going to rewrite what I have. I have 4y minus 3y plus 2 equals 4. And I know Farini, you're already saying, Mr. Giamini, combine like terms. Oh, yes. And Lily's saying, hey, 4y minus 3y, that gives me y. You are correct. And then Kayla's saying, wait, bring down the 2, and that equals 4. You are right, Miss Meyer. Now, I am going to go. Someone's saying somewhere, who is it? I can't get the voice. Ah, I know who it is. It's Sydney. She's saying, Mr. Giamini, can't we just subtract 2 from both sides? Sydney, you're right. And now, finally, we have, yes, Ellie, we have y equals 2. And, yes, Mr. Burr, Terminator, you can wipe your brow. We are done with this problem. Now I could substitute substitute 2 in for everything and come up with the answer of 1/2. What I would like you guys to do for the remainder of the period is work on question 2, question 4, question 6, and question 10. All right. The sub has the answers for these, and then your evening practice is on the blog. All right, guys. Looking forward to see you tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed making the video. See ya.